So before we start with that forgiving meditation, maybe we have to look at the advantages of forgiving first, so that it's a bit easier, although we all know it, I'm sure. So I'll still go through it. So the advantage is that it reduces...
Could you put the microphone a bit?
Can I put the microphone a bit more up? Yeah. So it's. I think it's okay. Like just. Thank you for saying it. It reduces depression, anxiety, anger, less physical and mental problems, reduces stress, and those are scientific findings. There's nothing religious here. Helps to have better relationships, more compassion, and well-being. Would you agree with that? So then why the heck is it so difficult? Not forgiving is like the airplane that cannot land on the airfield. Like you turn around and you turn around and you turn around. Or refusing to change the channel on your TV when the program is rotten. It's crap. You refuse to change it. So I think why this so we don't really understand what forgiveness is. Again, like forgiveness doesn't mean that you make the act that has been done to you smaller than it is. This is what we can, oh, it's okay. It's not. The act that has been done to you, whatever it is, it hurt you. Yeah? So forgiving doesn't mean that you say, oh, well, it's your karma, and therefore now your karma is finished. This you can say to yourself if you have a good understanding of karma, but only if you have a good understanding of karma. Like myself with these 400 euro, I didn't have to go into past lives. I could see it in this life. Yeah? That's the result of having taken money from my parents and from my bosses. And as I said, it was more than 400 euros, so I got away quite cheaply, actually, thanks to this Tibetan boy. I know that's not what we usually think, because I'm allowed to do okay, but others, to me, no. But that's not how karma works. Karma is like a boomerang. What you throw out, at one point it will come back. Either the boomerang brings you lots of flowers and good smells and whatever, or it just hits your head, and that's it. It's the Buddhist view. Again, you can accept it or not. It's totally up to you. I accept it. I think it's a good view. So then at least I'm a bit careful to what I do. So, again, then when we see the advantage and the disadvantage, we have to ask ourselves, do I want to be a happy person? And of course we say yes, but that's it. We don't do anything. There's plenty of methods, not just from the Buddhist side, not just from the Buddhist point of view, but from other points of view also. Also, forgiving doesn't mean you have to contact that other person, especially if it was very big. Forgiving means that in your heart you can think, wherever the person is, may he or she be happy, may he or she find the causes, the conditions to be happy, may he or she be able to let go of their guilt that now they most probably feel, and may they continue with a happy life, because that's a good way to stop harming others when we make other people happy, when we wish for their happiness. And again, I'm not talking about the happiness getting what you want when somebody else is suffering through that. That's not what is happiness. This is self-centeredness, But the happiness of being in contact with their own goodness, for example. This is what you can wish them. Or even also have not to face too many difficulties. That's the parameter of I have forgiven or not. If you are able to think that, and your heart is full of light, and you feel very, very relaxed and very open, then you have forgiven. Then you don't need to. Then you can let that. That's it. Then you can let it be. Yeah? Forgiving is also not forgetting. You don't need to forget the whole thing. How can you? Now I'm talking about big things here. But even small things, we never forget. Like I can't remember who said it. We never forget where we kind of buried the hatchet of war. The Native American Indians. Then when there's no war, there's disagreement, and then they have this hatchet, this weapon, so they bury it somewhere. And until it's buried, they're not allowed to fight with each other. But we never forget where it's buried. It's kind of taken out very, very quickly. That's the problem. Yeah? Because we do feel, we have this innate feeling that nobody should do anything negative to me. And it sits very, 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 very deep. And we're not even aware of it. That's why we get upset when somebody does something negative to you. Isn't it? Otherwise, why would you get upset? We see that we do things to others also that are not that incredibly nice. So why would you get upset when somebody else does it to somebody else? When somebody else does it to you? Why? Yeah? Because, kacha, me. You know. Totally unrealistic. Totally unrealistic thinking. So it's not forgetting. So there's some quotes. You can use quotes for forgiving also, you know, which will help you to let go. And you use them again and again and again and again until you feel something is opening up. So I think it's maybe Gandhi who said, the naive, they forgive and forget. The stupid, they don't forget and they don't forgive. The wise, they forgive, but they don't forget. You don't need to forget. You only need to let go. That it's finished. And a thought in your mind, I know how this feels. May I never do that to anybody else. Because what happens, and this is the sad thing, that people who have been hurt continue to hurt others because they have been hurt. Now, you can ask psychologists why. It's a very long story. I'm not going into that. I'm sure we have enough psychologists on the course. So just when you start to talk again, ask them, what is the theory why an abused child abuses his or her own children? Discuss it. Makes sense. Makes sense. But can you imagine how an ex-abused child who abuses his child, how they feel? Can you imagine? Because they know how it feels. Can you imagine how they need a lot of effort to suppress that knowing? Do you think being angry at them is the appropriate reaction to that parent? We usually get very angry at these parents, isn't it? Even though we don't know them and we don't know the conditions and we don't know what is going on. But there is this very justified anger, seemingly justified anger. Justified, not justified, it's not important. You think it's appropriate. Do you think it's good for them? Do you think they can heal when you get angry at them? Would you like them to heal? No, this is the problem. We want them to suffer. That's why also we don't want to forgive. Somebody, you see, they deserve it. They're bad. They should suffer. This is also a very deep, deep, deep sitting kind of thing that we have with ourselves also. That's the problem. I'm bad, therefore I should suffer. How do I make myself suffer? I feel guilty. I don't deserve to be happy. But you have a duty to be happy in order to be good citizens of this world. We need many more happy citizens. But again, not this perverse happiness that comes from harming others or, being the anti-friar and the other one is the friar. Not this kind of happiness. That's stupid. Okay? Do you see what I mean? And then this whole thing, when you are happy, I am happy too. Yes, Luna.
Can you forgive also someone who doesn't even believe that he did something wrong?
We're not. Do you know that you did something wrong? Those people are sitting here. Do you know when you do something wrong?
Yeah.
They all say yes.
Maybe not always. How do I
But
know?
they all say yes. What do you mean?
I guess there are people who do something very wrong. and
We
they're
don't know.
convinced that they're
Again,
right.
it's them. We don't know.
So how
So
can
what are you
forgive when
going
they
to-
don't even feel guilty?
Huh?
So how do you forgive someone who doesn't even feel guilty? You do it for
They need to
yourself.
feel. There you go. The punishment. They need to feel guilty so I can forgive. This is very dangerous.
Yeah, that's
Because it depends on the others, and we do whatever we can to make them feel guilty. We are very depressed. We show our depression and our sadness, and oh, you left me, therefore I feel bad. Well, but the moment they're out of the door, ha 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 ha. I've seen it. I had a restroom. I've seen it with a couple who broke up, and then like he said, look, sorry, goodbye. And then whenever he came to the restaurant and she was there, she would immediately go into the mode of, oh, poor me. The moment he was out, finished. The games we play, and this is what awareness is all about. What kind of games do I play? You know? Now, whether they feel guilty or not, we don't know. Do you show every time that you feel guilty? No. So they could feel guilty. So what helps you more? To think they feel... This is the meditation we're going to do. It helps... Well, that helps more to let go. That they feel guilty or they don't. What helps you more to let go?
Maybe it doesn't matter.
It shouldn't matter, but for our childish minds,
So it's when they feel guilty.
that they feel guilty. And then we rejoice somehow. There's some kind of, the power, the victim, they feel guilty, they deserve it, and it gives us some kind of perverse happiness. That's the problem about this whole thing, when we don't know about karma. Yeah?
I think in this country, what makes people angry is that people are not considerate, and they're like, for example, playing loud music in the train, or yelling, or just being. They're not interacting with them specifically, but they're just acting very not considerate with others.
Mm.
So you're. For me, it gets like I'm very, I'm hurt, and like the person, he's so into his world, he's not feeling guilty, he's not even aware like he's hurting others.
Yeah.
And it makes and I'm feeling very miserable, and I'm trying to show him that I'm feeling very miserable.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what we're doing, isn't it?
But so how can we do?
How can we do? What do you want to do? Do you want them to feel miserable?
I want not to feel miserable.
You don't want to feel miserable.
Yeah.
Then don't. Why should they feel miserable? They also don't want to be miserable. Yeah. Okay. The best thing, if somebody hurts you, the most healing thing for you is to say, okay, you hurt me, but it's okay. Because then they can admit. You see...
No, to tell them.
Huh?
So
If they want.
that's the answer, to approach them.
To approach them and say, but it's okay, I'm not hurt. I worked with it, it's fine, I let go. Then they don't feel threatened anymore. And then maybe, then there can be quite a good conversation, and maybe then you can explain to them what happened. But as long as you're angry, you're not allowed to approach them. Because anger wants to hurt. And they protect themselves by denying it. And you can say, but why do they need to know that they have hurt you? Why? Why do they need to know? Why? To make them suffer. And I had this, probably many of you know the story. I got really angry at somebody at one point who phoned me and said, so this is just a suggestion what I said, but it's not a good way to do it, by the way. If they ask something, you can say, but otherwise don't approach them, because you might get the reaction that I had. Somebody phoned me, also it was quite a difficult course with many people, and so I got a phone call, and she said, oh, then you kind of totally ignored me, and and you left me standing there, although there were people to help her, but it wasn't me, and I got really angry at you, and I felt let down, because you're my friend. I thought, oh, I don't know, I'm her friend. I mean, how am I supposed to know? Like somebody who did courses like you. It's like, how do I know that I'm your friend? You need to tell me. So then at least I can try to behave like a friend. If I don't know, how should I know? So anyway, so then I said, and I was tired and I was worn out, and I already had like difficult discussions in the course, and I said, well, she said, I worked with it, it's fine. So I said, then why do I need to know? Why are you telling me? And she said, but I'm saying it's fine. And I started to yell into the phone, why do you call me? Why do I need to know? And then we hung up, and then I had a bad feeling. Then, only then, because what I did, I didn't do anything wrong. In my eyes. In her eyes, yes. In my eyes, no. Because many times it's like this, you know. She expected me to help her into the hall. There were 5,000 people, the teachings of the Dalai Lama. And she saw me, she probably likes me. She thought, and she had like some kind of disability because of a broken leg. But she had a helper with her. And I was looking for people to take things to India. So I didn't kind of bring her into the hall. And she didn't say, could you please bring me into the hall either. She was just expecting it. And I didn't spend much time with her because I was looking for these people. So she was deeply hurt. And she needed to tell me that I had deeply hurt her for something that I think, I'm sorry, you know. But then, because I felt it's not just, I wouldn't react like this anymore. It's like years ago, yeah. But then when I hung up the phone, then I felt bad because I'd yelled at her. Then I walked around with this feeling for about 2 days in the course. It was when we still had longer courses. It was in Israel, like when we still had longer courses. And then I said to somebody, can you give me the phone number of that person? Because it was like still, it wasn't mobile phones. It was like the phone call was in the office. I had to go to the office to answer that call that she had forgiven me. You know, for something didn't even know I'd done. This is what people do something also sometimes. That's really not skillful. So anyway, so then I got the phone number and I called back with an anxious heart because, you know, she had reason to be hurt. And it's also why we don't want to admit that we hurt others, because we're so bloody arrogant. Sorry for the word bloody. And we, you know, we're the good person. I'm not hurting others. Yes, we do hurt others. Yeah. So I said, look, she said, oh, I'm happy you called. And then the moment she said, I'm happy you called, the whole thing fell apart, actually. The whole tension fell apart. And I said, look, I owe you something. I want to invite you for lunch. She chose the most expensive restaurant. And she said, can I bring my daughter? And I said, yes. And we had a very nice lunch together, but then for me, that was finished. That was paid. That's it. Okay, so this is it. There is, again, no one good way to do things. There's not one good way to do things. It's always different. We would like to find one good way to do things so that we can be happy. You have to get out of samsara in order to be happy. You have to realize emptiness. And you have to develop compassion in order to be happy, from the Buddhist point of view. Otherwise, you will face problems again and again and again and again. I know it's very harsh to say that, but that's reality. That's what the Buddha says. There is a way out with wisdom and compassion, not with talking to others. All you are asking me, what do I do with the other one? Except for one question here. All the other questions are what to do with the other. Nothing. Leave them alone. If you feel that they have a need that you come and apologize, by all means do. If they don't, and if they have, you know, that seem like not to hurt, that's fine. If you feel that they hurt and there's something cut, you can feel it. You know, it doesn't flow anymore. If you feel that it doesn't flow anymore, maybe then approach them. You know, whether you hurt them or whether you have been hurt. But usually going to say to somebody, hey, you really hurt me. Have you tried that? Have you asked yourself before you did it, why am I doing this? Why am I going to tell this person that they hurt me? What's the reason? What do you think? What is the reason?
Sometimes because the relationship is important to me and I want him to know me better, even my shortcomings, and then
you want him to know that he has hurt you, to better the relationship.
Yeah.
And then he says, okay, I'll be more careful in the future. Yeah? Okay, if it's like this, then that's fine. But is it usually like this?
No.
Huh?
No.
No.
You hurt me, and I am not going to forgive you.
Yeah, exactly. They start to kind of be hurt that you say something like this, and they start to get very defensive, isn't it? In general. So talking with others about this whole thing, sometimes not so.
But sometimes,
Again, you know, sometimes yes, sometimes no. But anyway,
they say, what can I do for you?
yeah,
They say, you should do something, you should pay me money.
yeah. Then you pay the money. Otherwise, don't ask. You know, you can't say, what can I do for you, and expect that they say, no, no, it's okay. That's what we do. You know, we go there, we apologize, and we hope that they will say, oh, it's okay, don't worry, I've forgiven you. That's a bit asking too much. It's like going to the supermarket and taking something from the shelf, and then going to the cashier and say, oh, I'm sorry, I took something. I'm really sorry, please forgive me, goodbye. You owe them something. You know, the German word for guilt is Schuld, a debt. And that's exactly what it is. You hurt somebody, you have a debt towards them. And you need to pay that debt. And you can't pay that debt if you want to pay it like a duty. You can only pay it when there's deep regret and you want to repay the debt. When you say, I want to amend the relationship, then you go and say, what can I do for you? You see, somebody that has treated me, I think, in a not a nice way, but that was just my point of view. But it was also kind of, whatever I did was wrong and blah, 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 the whole story kind of, you know how it is. When somebody dislikes you, they're your superiors, they don't treat you nicely, they look for every mistake you make, they pull it out, they don't trust you in anything what you're doing, and so on. So I was quite shocked, because it was another nun also. And I felt hurt, I felt confused. I didn't know what was going on. So for 2 weeks I felt really strange. And I became the person she saw, an incapable person. And then I'm a spiritual practitioner, and as I was walking around the stupa where I was, so it's not in Israel, so you don't need to think where it was. As I was walking around the stupa, I had this mantra, I only need to take care of my own mind. What she does and how she sees me, this is none of my problems. So then it took maybe a day, and then it was okay. But then what happened, because I was not impressed with her behavior anymore, she started to accuse me that I was arrogant. So what did I do? I apologized and I said, I'm really sorry that I upset your mind. And we left it at that. And we haven't seen each other since. But that's something I could do from my side, because I have upset her mind. Whether it's right or wrong, let go of right or wrong, should be, should not be. I have upset her mind. So I apologize for that, because she said, I am still waiting for an apology from you. So I gave it. Because I said, because we had already separated in this other country, and I said, I want to finish this in a good way, because next time I see you, I would like to be able to say hello in a relaxed way. So yes, I do apologize for having upset your mind. And for me it felt good, and then for me it was finished. Yeah.
What is the meaning of I apologize? What is the meaning?
I feel sorry.
No, I know, but what does it mean when you say that?
For me it is, I feel hurt, I feel sorry. I'm sad that I have apologized your mind. That's it. Not further than that. Whether she forgives me or not, it's not in there. That's, I feel sad. I am sorry.
Like, you didn't mean to do that, or?
I didn't mean to upset her mind, no. I didn't mean to upset her mind. I only worked with my own mind so that that her behavior did not affect me anymore. It's kind of self-protection. And then, of course, in her eyes, it became arrogant, because I wasn't kind of like this anymore. Yeah? But that's her problem, that's not mine. That's her problem, it's not mine. I cannot fix other people's minds. Yeah? And I can see how difficult it is when somebody is there who constantly upsets you, who constantly gets on your nerves. And I can see what happened. She was afraid of me. She was jealous. She was afraid that I would maybe be as good as her. And that's terrible for somebody who is teaching Vipassana meditation and who is quite known big master, when somebody like me comes who is able to upset her mind like this. This is terrible. That I had so much power over her that just my presence made her upset. So for somebody who is a renowned meditation teacher, that's very threatening. That's not very good. This is why also I left. You know, I do get out of people's way when I feel that I'm getting on their nerves. And it's so strong that there's nothing they can do with it, about it.
What happens when the other side upsets you, but in the past? Like,
Yeah.
he lives his own life,
Yeah.
happily,
Yeah.
whatever.
Maybe happy, maybe not happy, we don't know.
But he doesn't regret.
How do you
He
know
still
that he
suffers.
doesn't regret?
He continues with his life. You can see it.
Well, what do you want him to do? To hang himself?
No. Well, yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. Good. Very good. At least we're honest. You know, we want him to
Because I
suffer.
suffered a few years.
Bloody hell, they shouldn't be happy. How dare they to be happy? This is what hurts the most, isn't it? Yeah. So where does it come from? Yesterday we talked about love and attachment.
Yeah.
Because what we think is love is attachment. And then when we separate, it hurts.
The love became a hate.
Of course. No, the attachment turned to hate. Love can never turn to hate. Real love. Real love would be, you see, okay, I hurt because I really wanted to be together with him, but he left and he's happy. I'm so happy that he's happy. That is love. So you still hurt because it's not you, but you want the other hand, you're happy that he's happy. You don't want to punish him. You know, you're making him responsible for your pain. And many people do. All the people do. We always make others responsible for our pain. But it's you. It's how many years, you said? You know, it's years past.
Almost 6.
Huh?
6 years?
See, oh, it's not so long. Usually it lasts 2 years, actually.
It's long.
It lasts long. Yeah. But still,
It should be the best time of my life.
should be. So who is responsible?
One of my exes.
Who is responsible? You or
It's
him?
me.
It's you.
I'm responsible.
Yeah. So now don't feel bad about that. You're responsible. Have a lot of compassion for yourself. That is very. You see, we underestimate these things. It's very easy to talk about it, but it's very difficult then to let go and then to forgive. But it's I who is holding on.
Well, thanks to him, I arrived to the point where
No,
I'm
he was just
here
a condition.
today.
He's not the cause. He's just a condition. He's not the cause. He's the condition. Like soil, sun, water, or the plants. It's not the cause. It's the condition. Do you see the difference? Okay? It is interfering, it contributes, but it's not the real cause. The real cause is you thought that this person belongs to you.
No, not really.
Oh, not sure.
No.
So then why don't you let him go? If he doesn't belong to you. It's very difficult for me to have these very personal conversations in a group, I have to admit. I don't like it. Because sometimes I have to say things that actually hurt, and I don't want to do it in front of all the people. If you are okay to continue, we can continue. But otherwise it's very tricky, because what applies to her does not necessarily apply to all of you. This is why to discuss these personal things in a group is very, very tricky. And I actually don't like it so much, to be honest, because I see I can hurt people by saying I say something to you which I feel that fits you. But somebody else in a similar situation, it can totally destroy them what I say. Because I'm not clairvoyant enough to see what's going on in people's minds. So, and I'm not sure if you're strong enough to hear yet what I would say. You see, that's the thing. I'm not sure. And I don't want to destroy you. I would like to help you, but sometimes the medicine that I'm giving is too strong. This is why also, you see, Buddhism has perfect tools for you to have a happy mind. But if your mind is very